to talk about animations, interactivity, a bit about frames, a bit about performance, and it's going to be fun. But first of all, my name is Itay Perry. I'm a front-end dev at GroundCover. GroundCover is basically like a non-SaaS eBPF, bring your own cloud observability company. Pretty cool place, always hiring. I love the internet, I love browsers, I love CSS, document object model, and all that. And I also study Japanese. I will not speak Japanese, I promise. Not yet, maybe at the end. Okay, so you get to work, and you get to work in the morning, and your PM is like, hey, front end, you like animations, right? So why don't you get the UI UX in here, and I want you to make some animations on our marketing pages, articles, make it big, make it colorful, dynamic, just make it happen. Thank you, bye. So, well, you go to the UI UX and you talk to them, and they always say the same thing. It's always like, yeah, well, you know, let's just use Lottie because everyone does that. It's easy, it's out there. So let's just do that. So, Lottie is pretty well known. It's been out there for like 10 years, so I'm pretty sure you know it. But let's do a quick recap. So 10 years ago, a talented developer called Hernan Torisi built a plugin for After Effects called Body Moving. And Body Moving lets you create animations and export them as JSON files. He also built a web player to play them. And the web player, a year or two later, was renamed to be Lottie. So basically, Lottie is just a JSON animation. Doesn't have to be JSON today and doesn't have to be used to be created in After Effects, but that's basically what it is. So let's view a Lottie animation just to get started. Okay, so this is a public file taken from Lottie files. There are thousands of those online. Anyone can use it, very easy. And as you can see, it's big, it's colorful, it's dynamic. We have an endless loop of this beautiful SVG. And our product manager is happy, which was the point. So we succeeded. Now, how can you render a Lottie animation? It's pretty easy. I'm using Lottie Web in here, but you can use whatever you like. All we need is a simple HTML element, and we load the animation over the HTML element. The recommended way to go is SVG, but I just put it here so you could see it because it's also the default way to render. Okay. Now, there is this little thing that I didn't tell you about Lottie animations. Lottie animations, they have this limitation that most of them are just static linear sequences of frames. Now, a sequence of frames is a good thing. But because it's static and linear, what happens is that you can't really do too much with it. Like, you can play it forwards, backwards, faster, slower, but there's not too much you can do. And if you want to do more than that, you're going to have to add JavaScript. You're going to have to edit the animations yourselves, like the SVG or the canvas, or maybe use Lottie libraries, or even write scripts in After Effects, which is less common. Now, I want to show you another animation, just to show you this limitation so you could really understand it. Okay, is this big enough? Okay. Now, this is also a public file taken from Lottie files. I want you to imagine that you have this animation in your app. Let's just say you have some kind of a National Geographic styled app, maybe a traveling app or something, and your PM, that same PM, that same guy, comes and says, listen, this app, we can see mountains and sun and moon in here, and let's just say the product manager says, I want to see the sun section in light mode and the moon section in dark mode. Now, that is a reasonable request. Now, because it's a Lottie file, there's not too much we can do with it, but it is a sequence of frames. So what we can do is just play a subsequence of all of these frames. This animation is 360 frames, and I have a radio button in here. And if I click, for example, on the day, we will just view the day section, which is frames 25 till 125. And if I click on the night, we'll see the section of the night. Now, product manager is happy again. We did our job. It looks good. It's kind of janky. Like if I click it, you see it kind of cuts the frame. We can spend a few more minutes in here trying to think like how it wouldn't happen. But Lottie, again, is pretty limited. It's a good technology, but not the most interactive. So how did I do it? Basically, what I did was just add a simple switch case. I'm using play segments, which is a method that Lottie has. Very easy, will take you a minute to do it. But I gotta stop here and ask, is this real interactivity? Well, no one is answering, but yes. But the thing is, the answer is kind of no. I mean, it is interactive, but not fully interactive. And I'm thinking, what if we could use a technology that is just more advanced, more interactive, not something that is like a linear sequence of frames. And this technology already exists. And I'm here to talk about Rive. I will try not to get too hyped about it because I am. But basically, Rive is huge, but we can narrow it down to 3 things. So first of all, Rive is an open source editor written in C++. You can find it on GitHub. Anyone can use it, free. And you can create animations using this editor. Duolingo is a heavy user, so you will see a lot of those images running around online. But Rive is more than that, because when you export an animation from Rive, you get a Rive file, because Rive is also an extension. And this extension is a binary. And that means it's 10 to 15 times smaller than a JSON file, which is very, very cool. And Rive is also a bunch of renderers. Actually, each renderer is a WebAssembly runtime that you load in your network, and you can render your animation using this runtime, so it's pretty cool. We're going to use the official WebGL2 renderer today, so it's going to be fun. So basically, Rive is just more interactive, and that's why I'm here today. Let's go to the Rive editor for just a second. Okay. So you remember that day and night animation we just saw? I was thinking, maybe I can make a day and night animation on my own, although I'm not a designer, I'm not a motion designer, but I was thinking, maybe I can try and do it. And that's kind of what I did. It's not amazing, but it's pretty cool. And so this is the Rive editor. On the left side, you can see the particles that like assemble this animation. And on the left side, below here, I'm using one of Rive's interactive features called state machines. And I'm using a state machine in here to toggle between the day and night. This state machine is called state machine 1. The input is called day and night. And this is where I make the toggle. We're going to view it live in the browser, don't worry. And I'm just going to show it to you. OK, so say hi to my animation. I know it's not amazing, but it took a lot of hard work. We're using the GPU in here. We have moving objects. We have some light games in here. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click on the night, and I'm going to trigger a state machine, and the sun will go down, and the moon will go up. So, as you can see, pretty cool. And also very interactive. Like, frames is not something that we care about. It's not something that we think about. We just have an interactive experience. So I want to show you the code for that. OK, so how did I do it? I'm using the official Rive renderer, which uses WebGL2. That means we're using GPU. I have an empty canvas in here. And what I'm doing is instantiate a new Rive instance. And I have a state machines property. I'm requesting to use state machine 1, and when I load the animation, I extract the input. So far, so good? OK. So how did I change between day and night? Well, basically, just one line of code. That's it. Because we have the input, and we control the input's value. So with one line of code, we trigger the state machine. So not only we have better user experience, but we also have better developer experience, which is very, very cool. So what did we achieve in here? OK, first of all, we have a perfect transition. No jumps, no cuts, nothing is janky, everything just works, which is not something that we can take for granted. We have a binary file, which is much smaller than a JSON file, and when you use the GPU, you have more CPU available. If you have a lot of SVG animations, it will, well, slow down your performance. Okay, just a second. Okay, and what I've shown you is a fraction of a single feature. You can use a state machine to do many, many things. You can define many state machines for a single animation. We can control the weather, we can control the clouds, we can control the sun, we can do many things. We can have a character doing all sorts of things. And that's only with using state machines. But the truth is, Rive has much more than state machines. And I want to show you another animation. Okay, so this is a community animation made by someone called Marvin. Thank you, Marvin, for helping me rendering it. And Rive has an amazing feature called data binding. We can bind data live to an animation, and the animation will respond and react to these data changes. We can bind almost all kinds of data. This is an example in which, do you see the X and Y above? Now, I'm using a mouse move event, and the X and Y are basically mouse coordinates. So very easy to understand. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move the cursor, and this character will respond using data binding to the changes of the cursor. So as you can see, now this animation is not the entire web page. This is like not a part of the animation. And as you can see, it responds and reacts to the changes in this data. So very cool. Oh, and Rive also has events, which is cool. So here's an event, a click event. Yeah, so that's just cool. Okay. So let's sum it up. So if you use Lottie, and if you like Lottie, you should definitely keep using Lottie because it's great, it's an awesome technology. But if you need something more, if you want to use state machines, data binding, if you want to use the GPU, if you want animations to be responsive, because Rive animations can work like web pages and also be responsive, then you should definitely use Rive. Now, before we end this talk, I just want to tell you like this tiny fun fact that the person who created Lottie now works for Rive. So that's a very interesting fun fact. So thank you for being here today. This is my LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Twitter. And so reach out if you want to. Thank you.